Live from the Hammond Center in Springfield, Missouri. It's the Missouri State 4A Boys High School Basketball Championship. Hello again, everybody. I'm Bob Ramsey, and this afternoon joining us, of course, with the play-by-play, Dave Stewart. Dave, everything builds up all year to the 4A championship for these kids, and as we said in the open, East meets West, and the powers are here.
Had a chance to talk with the Rockhurst coach back on Monday. He said, hey, we want to do three things every year. Win 20 games, win the district, go to the Final Four. They've gone a step beyond. They're playing today for the title, a rematch of the '86 game.
I find it interesting today that in the semifinal games, there were quite a few mismatches as far as height and power inside goes, but both of these teams have good inside games.
Well, when you get to the Final Four, when you get to a point, a championship game type format, all things tend to equalize themselves. Vashon is big. Jeff City was a big team. Teams seem to play over and above themselves. In fact, Rockhurst is known as a team that is overachievers as a group, and they've been able to neutralize teams that are bigger at times because they have that great desire.
And let's talk a little bit about tempo. Vashon likes to run when they can. Rockhurst obviously doesn't want to get into a 94-foot game.
Well, if the Hawkins have a chance to win this basketball game, it'll simply be because they're able to slow the tempo down. They feel if they can keep the game in the 40s, the 50s, then they have an excellent chance to win. If it gets beyond that, they might be in trouble.
Yeah, and while they have inside games, both teams are complemented by some guards that can put in the three, so we may see some outside shooting if they go zone.
Well, you know, this is the calf of a couple of great weekends of high school basketball. Last weekend, 1A, 2A boys and girls did their thing. We'll show you pictures when we come back on the Missouri State High School Basketball Network. Stay with us.
Mr. Goodrich, Casey's favorite rent-to-own centers, has something for everyone, all under one roof, all at special prices, including our most popular 3-for-1 special. Just rent any of our beautiful living room groups in stock, including a sofa, love seat, or chair, and get a brand-name 25-inch color console TV, too. All three for just $19.95 a week while supplies last. But hurry, call any Mr. Goodrich today for free delivery and some good news at Mr. Goodrich.
Last year, almost 2 million families stopped buying regular Pepsi, and more of them moved to one major soft drink than any other. A soft drink with smooth, satisfying, real cola taste, yet just 1 calorie. That soft drink is Diet Coke. Kansas City, taste what so many Pepsi drinkers have already discovered.
Just for the taste of it, Diet Coke.
The move is on to Diet Coke.
I'm up early to go across town to Builders Square. They got the best prices and service.
But there's a new Builders Square, now open at 12,010 West 95th Street in Lenexa. It's just around the corner, and you can get the Stanley quarter-horsepower garage door opener for just $95.
You mean I didn't have to get up this early?
Night-night. Builders Square, now open at 12,010 West 95th Street in Lenexa.
This is a water bed? Wow.
I heard water beds are good for your back.
Yeah. That's a lot less than at the other waterbed store.
This is beautiful. And look at that price.
Yeah. Look at that price, Frank. I really like this.
It's nice.
Our big event through this Monday. Make sure it's an American waterbed store with 5 Kansas City locations, including Olathe.
Jefferson beats Morrisville in the 1A. And there is Shelley Germain. She led the team in scoring. And quite a championship there. These smaller communities get down here and get into it. There you see it again, 60-50, the final score. We're in Springfield for the first time, and we'll be back here. We're going to be talking to the director of the Missouri High School Activity Association at halftime about the change in venue. There you see the 1A Boys Championship, 63-53, the final. Scott County Central over Clarksville Clopton by 10. Scott County was led in scoring by Jerry Porter. 2A girls. And let's switch back to our 2A girls page. 50-48, a 2-point game. Salisbury over Springfield Catholic. Salisbury led in scoring by Lynette Linneman. She had 22 points, and Sheila Kelly had 20. And with the 2A boys there, you see them licking a 15-point winner over Bernie, 80-65. Licking led in scoring by Philip Gamble, and Philip had 23 points. Those are the champions in the previous weekend, boys and girls, 1A and 2A.
And the most noticeable difference, I suppose, having all the games here in Springfield is the intimacy of the Hammond Center. It's a place where the fans are very close to the action, and I anticipated getting very loud. The fans about 5 feet behind us on the broadcast table.
Yeah, we just have to watch what we say because they can probably hear us right behind us. But really, though, it is so loud in here, and this is a perfect atmosphere for high school basketball or any basketball, as the Southwest Missouri Bears fans have shown.
And some of the late games involve teams that are within 100 miles, and so a lot of fans in for the late game will be staying and watching what happens early. The 4A boys, Vashon and Rockhurst, in what it should be a pretty good ball game.
Yeah, I think you've got the makings of a classic matchup. As we'd said a few minutes ago, the inside game, that'll be interesting to see. Heller set a record last night for Rockhurst, 39 points, 14 rebounds, and just a tremendous game.
Well, he is definitely the best player in the Kansas City area at 6'10", headed for the University of Missouri, and we will see him very shortly as Vashon takes on Rockhurst. The Wolverines, the defending champions, will be back from Springfield, Missouri. The 4A Basketball Network. Stay with us.
Kids live in the present, lost in their games, curious beyond belief. Kids make life interesting, to say the least. And life being what it is, and the world beyond the schoolyard swing, it's well worth having the peace of mind only this card brings. The one from Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Those who have it feel better than those who don't.
Come experience a place that is like no other. Busch Gardens at Tampa Bay, Florida. Feel your heart beat, 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 beat strong, 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 strong. Your heart beats strong. Feel the rhythm, beat, beat, feel the life, beat, beat, beat. Feel the freedom beat inside you forever. Beat, beat, beat inside you forever. Busch Gardens at Tampa Bay. No place else.
Dear Larry, David and I just want to say thanks. The last 2 years have been pretty rough for David, especially the surgery. But through it all, David never gave up. He wanted to live. I think the Dream Factory's gift of the computer really cheered his spirits on. David continues to grow stronger every day now.
At Channel 9, the Dream Factory can't make every kid's dream come true. But as long as we find a David up against a Goliath like cancer, we're going to help him give it his best shot.
Some things in this world just can't be explained. The energy wave from Converse. Cons give you the power of the wave.
Told you. Oh, there we go. Now I can hear myself a little bit.
Buzz it at 2 minutes.
And the Converse Cons basketball shoes available at Casey's Sports in St. Louis, Howard's Athletics in Cape Girardeau, and Bass Pro Shops in Springfield. I guess we could stop by there to get our Cons on the way out.
And there's a couple of other places that you could try. D-Sport in Columbia, Athlete's Foot in Kansas City, and Walt's Shoe in Joplin.
I got size 11s waiting on me, I think,
I
here
was
in
promised
Springfield.
9.5.
9.5, so we'll have to see how it works.
Talk about some big shoes to fill. You know, Vashon has such a great basketball tradition. You wonder who's going to step forward. Well, they've got 4 seniors that play a lot, and they're happy to be in Springfield. A different scene, and they want to start some kind of a new tradition, winning in a different place. You know, the other guys have won 4 out of the last 6 years at the Hammond Center in Columbia. They're going to try out in Springfield, and the Missouri State High School Activities Association has been really pleased with the switch this year, having all the schools play here. As we talked about, the intimacy of this gym, and it is starting to fill up all around us, and it should be loud, and there's some players that are going to give them something to be excited about. We talked about Chris Heller earlier, a guy that did set a school record for the Hawklets, 43 points against Blue Springs. He talked to Coach Bruce earlier. He said, hey, I'm really a man on a mission. I want to win this thing one more time before I graduate. His last high school game today.
And obviously, Coach Floyd Irons of Vashon, they want to continue what has really been domination of the state tournament. They can't win it every year, but they'd like to win their second in a row this afternoon here at the Hammond Center. There's Floyd Irons. He's got the power inside, and he's going to try and make it work for him this afternoon.
What's interesting about Floyd, many of the coaches that we see in the high school ranks are also teachers. Floyd is the principal at Vashon High School in his third year, and one thing that he stressed to us before the game today is an emphasis on academics. Vashon has sent several players on to college basketball, and some have had some academic difficulties. He is proud of the fact that the kids that he has on the team this year that have futures in college basketball have met all their Proposition 48 qualifications and would be eligible to play next year somewhere.
In fact, if we talk about Division I players and their opportunities, Floyd told us his 4 senior starters all have passed and are eligible to play Division I. That doesn't necessarily mean you can play Division I, but he feels all 4 of those kids can play at the Division I level. Conversely, for Rockhurst, Heller, who is going to the University of Missouri, as you mentioned, is probably, at least according to his coach, the only really legitimate Division I player at this time. Of course, Fry is only a sophomore, and he seems the heir apparent to really dominating the middle in the next couple of years.
Coach Bruce, we visited earlier in the week, and I congratulated him on getting to the Final Four, and he was a little bit taken back that I was surprised that they were able to do that. People expect Rockhurst to win in football. They expect them to win in basketball, but there were some doubts. Everybody knew about Chris Heller, but it's like, what else do you have? Well, what he has is a cast of guys who have worked very hard this year and overcome a lot of injuries. Chris Powell was out with a football injury early in the year. Brian Fry, a sophomore who has come on to start since February, missed a couple of months with knee surgery, and everybody is healthy now and ready to play one more time.
And we're just about set for the starting lineups, and let's go to the Hammond Center public address announcer, Mark Mills.
Now here are the starters for this 4A boys state championship game. For Rockhurst at forward, a 6'3" senior, number 34, Peter Campbell. For Vashon at forward, number 40, a 6'6" junior, Dwayne Coleman. For the Hawklets at forward, a 6'7" sophomore, number 35, Brian Fry. For the Wolverines at forward, a senior 6'9", number 52, Montrell Nash. At center for the Hawklets, a 6'10" senior, number 41, Chris Heller. For Vashon at center, a 6'11" senior, number 50, Melvin Robinson. For Rockhurst at guard, a 5'11" junior, number 22, Chris Powell. For the Wolverines playing guard, a senior at 6'2", number 24, Mark Gant. For Rockhurst at the other guard, a 5'10" senior, number 24, Matt Ecton. And for the Wolverines at guard, a 5'9" senior, number 00, Anthony Jones.
Please stand and honor our country. National anthem. And we'll be back with the tip-off for today's Missouri Championship game. Right after this, this is the Missouri 4A Basketball Championship.
The officials for this 4A boys.
This is a water bed? Wow.
I heard water beds are good for your back.
Yeah.
That's a lot less than at the other waterbed store.
This is beautiful. And look at that price.
Yeah. Look at that price, Frank. I really like this.
It's nice.
Our big event through this Monday. Make sure it's an American waterbed store with 5 Kansas City locations, including Olathe.
Be a V.F. Goodrich TA radials. Grab, dig, perform. The all-weather comp TA is low and wide. Outlast Pirelli P600 and Goodyear Eagle GT Plus 4. V.F. Goodrich TA radials. Think of them as athletic shoes for your car.
Break the rules with the morning deal.
Come on, we dare you.
Hi, I'm John Langan.
I'm Mark Patrick with the 106.5 KXXR morning deal.
Are you different?
Well,
want a different radio show? Sure you do. Come on, do the deal with us each morning, 106.5.
We've got the game zone.
News in your face, cash call, and always a healthy dose of today's rock and roll. Drop into the deal.
Hear the difference. 106.5 FM. KXXR. Today's rock and roll.
Everyone loves getting extra stuff, like Al here.
Yeah, I mean, look, if one's good, more's got to be better, right?
That's why Al comes to Bonanza Restaurant, where every dinner includes our all-you-can-eat Fresh-Tastics food bar, free drink refills, even free desserts. And where right now, our all-you-can-eat golden fried shrimp dinner with all the Bonanza extras is just $6.99.
You know what I could really use? Some extra room.
The extras don't cost extra at Bonanza.
Independence, Blue Springs, Liberty, Olathe, St. Joseph, The Landing, and 39th Street in Westport.
Brought to you in part by National Car Rental, who feature fine General Motors products. See National's 2 convenient St. Louis locations at Lambert International Airport and downtown. For more information, 1-800-CAR-RENT. National Car Rental, the official car rental company for the NCAA championships. And there we go. Dave, I think we're back.
We are back in Springfield. The game just 50 seconds in. We apologize for audio troubles. Chris Heller, first shot off, rebounded by Vashon's Montrell Nash. The Wolverines the other way. Anthony Jones off balance, won't go. Rebound, Chris Powell, and the Hawklets have a break. Acton, and the first score of the ball game. The Hawklets up 2-zip.
Interesting, they scored off the break, Dave. In fact, they want to play a half-court game.
That's one thing that Vashon can do so well, and the Hawklets showed them exactly what they've been able to do against opponents all year. In fact, Vashon scored as many as 103 points once this year, in the 90s a couple of times. A three-point shot from the corner is good by Anthony Jones. Vashon leads at 3-2, and they can put it up from three, put it up from all over the floor, really. Vashon will use some pressure, full court. That time mildly applied to Matt Acton. 6:21 remaining opening quarter. Vashon the early leader over Rockhurst of Kansas City by a 3-2 count. Vashon in a man-to-man defense to Chris Powell, an outstanding junior fullback. Broke his foot late in the football season, back healthy again. And there's a nice shot from the corner. A three-pointer from Matt Acton. So we've seen just about everything so far. A couple of three-pointers and a nice transition.
Now, Rockhurst, it looks like a 2-1-2, but actually the first two possessions they've been playing a triangle in two, and that's what it is again with the two guards chasing Vashon's guards.
The alley-oop goes inside underneath. Blocked. Robinson had his shot blocked, and it's Acton the other way. He'll pull up, wait for everybody else to come down, and look up top for sophomore Brian Fry. 5-3, Rockhurst the early leader here in the finals of the 4A boys state championship. We're at the Hammond Center. The ball off the hands of Chris Heller, back to Vashon.
Heller had made the nice block the last time down. And as they came down the floor, the two big men were looking to the guards. Floyd Irons said that Anthony Jones is his coach out on the floor. He's the key to that offense, not necessarily the big men.
Nash, the alley-oop inside, intended for Coleman, knocked out of bounds, and Vashon will keep it. Coleman has a twin brother on the team. Identical, 6'6", 200. I'd say Dwayne starting, Dwight on the bench.
Anthony Jones is averaging 14 points a game. That's him 0-0 right there.
Being guarded by Matt Ecton. Finds Gantz out on the left wing, back out front. Rockhurst wants to keep the tempo exactly like this. They feel if they have a chance to win, they need a game in the 40s or the 50s. They don't want it to get into a running affair. One way to prevent that is to make the shots at the other end. And the Hawklets right now doing a pretty good job on defense.
Yeah, that triangle in two has put Vashon a little bit out of the game they wanted to run because it'll be tough for him to pack it in.
Shot from outside is no good, and a foul is going to be called underneath on Coleman. Our first foul of the game came inside. And one thing I think we've noticed already, 1986 when these two teams met in the finals, Vashon was the intimidator. Today, Rockhurst came in saying, hey, we will not be intimidated. So, with 4:31 remaining, opening quarter, Rockhurst leads 5-3. Back on the Missouri State High School Basketball Network.
What you get out of a project depends on what you put into your workshop. So get Master Mechanic power tools from True Value Hardware stores. Like their high-speed finishing sander for just $44.99. Or their 1/3 horsepower variable speed jigsaw for only $34.99. Or get a Master Mechanic 1 3/4 horsepower plunge router for just $65.99. And their 7 1/4 inch circular saw for only $39.99 at participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
Southwest Missouri State University is the scholar's choice. In 1986, SMSU President Marshall Gordon initiated the SMSU National Merit Scholarship Program to attract national merit finalists to the university. It worked. Over the past 3 years, 72 finalists have received the scholarship, and SMSU is now a sponsoring institution of the National Merit Scholarship Corporation. Southwest Missouri State University, the scholar's choice.
After the big game or after that tough practice, sports shake for Missouri's athletes. We are 4:31 into the opening quarter. Rockhurst leads the defending state champions from Vashon by a count of 5-3. We've seen a couple of three-pointers. Your early observations, Bob.
Well, as we went to the break, you made a comment talking about the first foul of the game. It's interesting, Floyd Irons' philosophy, he feels like he has 15 fouls to Heller's 5. And so, obviously, if Heller gets in foul trouble, it's going to be important to Rockhurst. And Floyd Irons for Vashon figures he can give many, many more. He's confident in his big people on the bench.
And Heller fouled out in a playoff game, and the Hawklets were still able to win on a big shot by Pete Campbell against Raytown South.
This is their full court pressure. I think this is their 2-1-2. It provided a little trouble against the Smet last night in a weird game.
Rockhurst will do that just on occasion, kind of a token press just to remind the opposition that, hey, they can do it. Okay. And there is the speed of Vashon, steal and scored by Anthony Jones. We're tied at 5.
And there's the transition game that obviously Rockhurst doesn't want to get into. They want to protect the ball, but when A.J. is firing around the court like that, that's exactly the game that he wants to play.
This time, Matt Ecton just guarded one-on-one inside to Chris Heller, and a foul on one of the big guys. Heller will shoot a couple.
Yeah, the foul on Melvin Robinson, and I think while he is obviously a big, powerful individual, I'm not so sure his foot speed and quickness matches up with Heller, and he got caught underneath one-on-one, and actually he got a little too far under the bucket. There was nothing he could do at that point, and he got the foul, and Heller goes to the line. A lot of big guys you see throw up bricks, but Heller's got a nice soft touch from anywhere on the floor, including the free throw line.
One thing that will impress you about Chris Heller is exactly that. He has 8 3-pointers on the year. This is a guy that stands 6'10", legitimate, barefoot. He's 6'10", and he can shoot outside the three-point line, although that's really not where they want him to shoot. Second win is off. Rebound underneath by Montrell Nash, 6'5" Rockhurst here in the opening quarter. Anthony Jones works inside, pulls the ball back out as Rockhurst tries to play some defense.
They're still in the triangle in 2, Dave.
6'9", Montrell Nash works on the left side. High school basketball has no shot clock, so they can take as much time as they want, and Anthony Jones did not need a lot as Vashon goes back up 7-6.
Well, what they did to beat what essentially was a man-to-man because of the triangle 2, a man-to-man on the guards, they set the pick for him, and A.J. popped the tray.
Matt Ecton, who runs the offense for the Hawklets, looks back up top to Pete Campbell. Brian Fry with a knee brace on that right knee. Back in action for a short time. An air ball by Chris Powell, who's in a shooting slump since midseason, and it's Vashon the other way. Nash looks inside to Robinson. Down low to Coleman. Stolen away, and here come the Hawklets.
We'll see if Rockhurst goes right to the bucket or if they try and work the clock a little bit.
Campbell, a nice pass. Heller with the dunk and a foul.
That's the way. If you're going to work it in, you might as well go to the big boy right there. He jammed it home. Oh, and an exclamation point with the foul.
That was nice. A couple of years ago, Chris Heller had the size, the height anyway, but he was not nearly as aggressive and as dominant. Now, at this point in his career, he will take on anyone, and that time he did just that. An opportunity for a three-point play as the Hawklets back on top in a game that is seed and sod so far.
You know, you talked about his being aggressive, and Doug Bruce told me today, I know you know Kansas City better than I, but he said Heller is actually a very soft-spoken, laid-back individual. So when he comes out with big plays like that, it's a different part of his personality.
Heller inside, guarding as the pass goes to Robinson.
Face!
Exactly. It's hard to believe Robinson is a high school senior. He looks like a man when he's playing against guys 17, 18 years old, and that time a powerful dunk as Vashon with a 10-9 lead. Ecton, the three-pointer, and the Hawklets go back up 12-9. That's one way we talked about beating the press, make the shots. The other team has to wait for the ball to go through the net, and you can't run on made shots, not nearly as easily.
Ecton with 8 points already.
Anthony Jones tries for three, and what do you know, the game is tied at 12.
A.J. already has 10, so these teams are just trading them back and forth.
And again, a contrast to the '86 title game when Vashon was clearly in control. Both teams have played well. It's fair to say both teams have played awfully well. Minute 45 remaining, opening quarter. We are tied at 12. This is the Missouri 4A Basketball Championship.
We picked up Green. He shoots and he scores. The crowd goes wild. Cap. Hi, great crowd out there, huh? Oh, you know, they're here to salute you.
I love them all.
You know, I'd sure like to be in your shoes.
Better lace them on real tight, because that's all you have out there. Just you and your shoes.
Hey, Cap, who was the quickest player you ever saw?
Nate Archibald, Kansas City.
Who was the toughest you ever put a move on?
Judy, sophomore, UCLA.
When a pro picks his tools, only the best make the cut. These are the tools that work for a living. The heavy metal, like Makita, Ryobi, Milwaukee. And starting now, we've got over 1,000 of the best at Payless Cashways. The big guns, at the lowest prices guaranteed. Because at Payless Cashways, we know if there's one thing better than working with the right tools, it's knowing you paid the right price. Get it right from Payless Cashways.
And a couple of fans enjoying, well, what do you suppose, ice cream, a snow cone?
Yeah, it looks like a snow cone. I wouldn't mind a chili dog myself at this point.
Well, maybe we can get somebody upstairs to bring this one down. Good ball game. We're tied at 12. Vashon, the defending state champions, and Rockhurst back in the title game. They were the champions in 1987, the year they won titles in both football and basketball. The first school ever to do that in the state of Missouri. In fact, Jeff City had the chance to do that this year. However, the Jays knocked out in the semifinals by this Rockhurst team. Last night, a game that went to overtime. Chris Heller with 39 points, and all of a sudden, Robinson comes out of the ball game after we had got ready to play again.
Jermaine Morris checks in for him, a 6'5" junior, and that's one of the guys that Floyd Irons figures he can go to on his bench and not lose a whole lot.
Well, they're deep and they're also big. We look at the two Coleman twins at 6'5", Morris at 6'5", and there is a shot missing by Guy Bonner, brother of Anthony, just into the ball game as Rockhurst the other way. Ecton thought about the three-pointer, decided against it. Pete Campbell looks inside for the sophomore big guy, Brian Fry. They want to be patient to get the ball into that guy. Chris Heller got it to go, and again the foul. So Heller could do the three-point play the old-fashioned way all afternoon. At least that's what Rockhurst hopes.
Nash got him that time, and it was a nice move as he backed in, caught the ball. It was a nice entry pass to get it to him, take it to the hole all day. Nash got him. Take a look at it right there. He just spun to the hole, spun to his left, got it off the glass. Nice move, Heller, and he'll get a chance for the three-point play.
And he does just that. 15-12 in a game that has gone back and forth. Rockhurst of Kansas City with a three-point lead as some pressure applied, and the Wolverines break it rather easily. Gant shoots from 18, and he hits it. It's 15-14.
He hits 47% from three-point country.
Kind of amazing. Gant had an off night last night, only 3 out of 7 in a win over DeSmet, but he is a guy that can fill it up, and he likes that 20-footer.
That was a weird game over DeSmet, 36-30. It was one of the weirdest games I've ever seen. Everybody had an off night.
The kind of format that the Rockhurst Hawklets would like to play. Second try by Heller, no good. Rebound, Vashon the other way. 2-on-1. Back to Jones, the left hand, and it won't go but a foul.
That's exactly what they want to happen. They don't want Heller to get that many chances inside, but once they were able to knock it away, and then it's just off to the races, and Vashon didn't convert that time, but Anthony Jones will go to the line, and Floyd Irons, there you take another look at it. Nice pass work, and he just couldn't get it to fall. Call that a good foul, coming back and stopping the layup, puts Jones to the charity stripe.
Rockhurst is not a terribly deep team. They will go basically with the same 7 guys. They might bring an 8th off the bench. That would be Robert Lee. Robert Gamble, normally the 7th off, and the first by Anthony Jones goes down. We're tied at 15. A couple of years ago, and in fact it was 86, and another Anthony Jones was an integral part of that Wolverine state title. This Anthony Jones hits a second, and the Wolverines back on top in what's been a pretty crisp basketball game. We haven't seen the early jitters that's so common in a championship game involving young men 17-18. The Hawklets are able to beat the press.
Heller did the job right there, and that is by design. He will handle the ball against pressure at times. Shows the kind of all-around player he is.
At 6'10", he does just about everything, and one thing he did back in November was sign with Missouri. 2 seconds left in the opening quarter, and the shot by Brian Fry, his only shot of the quarter, goes down, and the Hawklets will go to the locker room on top by 1, 17-16. The Hawklets over Vashon. This is the Missouri State High School Basketball Network. Stay with us.
Shop and Save brings you lower prices every day on America's freshest, finest produce and over 15,000 name brands like these.
Always delicious Safari ground coffee, the Shop and Save price $3.47. Red Baron pizza, sausage or pepperoni, the Shop and Save price only $2.87. Keebler O'Boise's original flavor potato chips, the Shop and Save price $1.29.
The more you shop, the more you save every day. That's Shop and Save.
Another day dawns. But no one knows exactly what the day will bring. Not even the weatherman. And that being the case, it's well worth having the peace of mind only this card gives you. The one from Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Those who have it feel better than those who don't.
Come experience a place that is like no other. Busch Gardens at Tampa Bay, Florida.
Feel your heart beat, 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 beat strong, 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 strong. Your heart beats strong. Feel the rhythm, beat, beat, feel the light, beat, beat, beat. Feel the freedom beat inside you forever. Beat, beat, beat. deep inside you forever.
Busch Gardens at Tampa Bay. No place else.
Get reliable help around the house with electrical products from True Value hardware stores. Like the 48-inch shop light by American Fluorescent for just $8.88. Improved connections with this Electropack 7-outlet center, only $5.99. The Master Electrician 25-foot trouble light with circuit breaker is just $9.99. And the heavy-duty TrueGuard plug-in timer is only $5.49 at participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Back at the Hammond Student Center in Springfield, Missouri, we're just about to begin the second quarter with Vashon trailing Rockhurst by a count of 17-16. Both teams did awfully well shooting the ball opening quarter. Pete Campbell comes out, fires, misses. Brian Fry with the rebound and follow, but he was fouled underneath by one of the big guys, one of those 15 fouls to give, and it was on Robinson.
His second. And, you know, you talked about shooting well in the first quarter. That's why we had a close game. Both teams are really playing pretty well. Vashon at 54%, 6 of 11. Rockhurst, 6 out of 10 at 60%. Both teams doing well from the line with just a couple of attempts. 3 turnovers for Rockhurst, only 1 for Vashon, and Fry's at the line.
6'7" sophomore knocks down the first one as the Hawkland student body approves, and this is a 6'7" sophomore who is still growing, I'm told.
Correction, that's Robinson's third personal foul. So 3 of the 15 to give, and also keep in mind Nash has 1.
And with that, Vashon goes into forecourt down by 3. It's 7:47 to go in the opening half. They trail Rockhurst of Kansas City 19-16. Mark Gant spins, passes inside off the hands of Morris, and Rockhurst on the turnover will bring it back the other way. This time it appears Vashon to be the tighter team, and the rematch of the 1986 game, won decisively by the Wolverines. A 29-point win that Chris Heller had a very small part in, and the ball goes down to Chris, knocked out of his hands, and Rockhurst will keep possession as we've got a new player checking into the ball game. Aaron Walker, 5'8" junior, comes in for the Wolverines. Coming out, Jermaine Morris, so they give away some height and pick up some quickness on the exchange. Robert Gamble into the ball game, passes inbounds to Matt Ecton. And Peter Campbell with that big shot against Raytown South to keep the Hawklets alive. Spin shot good by Heller, and all of a sudden a 5-point lead for the Hawklets.
That was a nice move. Rockhurst doing a good job on the defensive end down here. They're sticking with that triangle in 2. They didn't know if it would work, and so far it's done a pretty good job.
Well, they cannot complain about the results as the Hawklets lead by 5. Just under 7 minutes to go here in the opening half of the state championship game. For the first time, the 4A boys at the Hammond Student Center in Springfield. A drive and a foul called inside on Brian Fry. Might have grabbed him as Aaron Walker raced by toward the basket. Brian Fry, the story on him, he went in for a layup back in November. Nothing special. Had ligament damage in a knee. Arthroscopic surgery, did not return until February the 1st, and he's played awfully well since. Anthony Jones inside, goes to Robinson. Nice turnaround.
Looked like he bobbled the ball, surprised a little bit with the pass, but he knew what to do with it once he grabbed the handle. Nice touch inside.
Plenty big guy, but his hand's awfully soft that time as the Wolverines come back within 3. Matt Ecton patiently looks for somebody. Gamble up top. And Brian Fry from 18 feet, and he throws up an air ball. It'll be Vashon the other way as Rockhurst hustles back on D.
You get Robinson's hand in your face, that will make you miss.
Again, a 3-point try, and Fry the rebound, and Rockhurst survives a possession without a Wolverine point. Gamble had a notion up top to Chris Heller, who will shoot, and does from 15, and he gets it.
That's a good matchup in the man-to-man because Nash is, I think, as quick as Heller. It's a little better than Robinson and Heller, and Nash can play with him. That ought to be a good one if they stick in that man-to-man.
5-point lead again for the Hawklets at 23-18, 5:35, and a 3-pointer goes down by Aaron Walker, which is why he's in the ball game, because he can't hit it from outside. Walker just 1 of 5 last night against DeSmet, but already he has improved it just on 1 shot. Acton being hassled on defense, and the pass goes off the hands of Robert Gamble, and it'll go over to Vashon. Robert Gamble, one of the top 100 high school seniors, headed for college football. He'll play defensive back at UCLA next year, and just a great athlete and a tremendous leader, a guy the Hawklets are happy to have on the floor. Aaron Walker drives inside, and here come the Hawklets the other way. Gamble, and he's fouled inside by Mark Gant. Robert Gamble will get a couple of free throws.
Personal foul.
Take another look as Gamble goes in, and no doubt Gant got some of the basketball and also some of the left arm of Robert Gamble.
It was interesting, they had brought Heller out on a high post and were posting up Gamble down low, and having not seen Rockhurst play except last night, interesting, they like that mismatch inside when they can get him low, and then it brings the power of Vashon, at least half of the twin tower combination, out away from the basket.
Gamble nails a free throw at the 5-minute mark. Rockhurst leads Vashon by a count of 24-21. We'll be back on this, the Missouri State High School Basketball Network.
The University of Missouri-Columbia is recognized nationally as one of the best buys in college education. Why? Diversity. Mizzou offers a choice of more than 250 degree programs. Quality. A world-renowned university attracts the best and the brightest. So if you're a high school student wondering where in the world you will go next, see what a university known the world over offers you. Channel 9's Lori Everett.
I think of this place as my second home. I actually spend more time in the newsroom than I do here. Now, it's not that I'm obsessed with my work. It's just that all of us at Channel 9 have made a very real commitment to the news in Kansas City. We want you to think of Channel 9 as the station where the news comes first. And I think people are starting to expect that from us. And we take that very seriously. So if you want to catch up with me, you probably better call me at the station, unless you want to talk to the cat. Right, Kitty?
Back at the Hammond Student Center in Springfield, Missouri, the boys' 4A state championship game as the Vashon cheerleaders look on. Their Wolverines trail by 3 at 24-21, and surprising that Rockhurst is on top because the Hawklets, well, the pace of the game has been faster than they probably anticipated would work in their favor.
I think Heller has done a good job inside against, well, either one of Vashon's twin towers, Nash or Robinson, and he's had some nice moves, and now they're bringing him outside. The next time down, we'll see how they want to work their offense.
Vashon coach Floyd Irons has worked his rotation around, looking for the right combination on the floor to get things going for the Wolverines.
Rockhurst has switched to a man-to-man now.
That's something that they will do, is switch defenses periodically, and if Vashon starts to pick up something, why not try something else?
Quite frankly, Rockhurst man-to-man was pretty bad last night. We'll see if they match up a little better. I think the matchups are better for them today.
They anticipated Jeff City last night to play man-to-man about 99.5% of the time, and they saw a lot. Shot by Gant won't go, gets his own rebound, and he's fouled from behind, and in disbelief is Robert Gamble, I guess. He got him one of those kind of a fullback tackle that we'll see next year at UCLA.
Oh, yeah, he had a tackle. He was covering the end zone. Just took him out of there.
Take another look at the shot by Gant. Ball back, live play at 4:15, and the shot goes down, and a three-pointer ties us at 24.
Walker saw that nobody was open. He noticed his feet were behind the stripe, and bang, put it away.
They have three guys that like to put it up, and put it up with good reason and good success. Brian Fry works inside, had the ball knocked out of his hands.
Another nice job by Walker helping out. They're going to have to help out inside, especially as Heller again. Watch, Heller has been drawing Montrell Nash, out of there.
Walker would like to be compared to a Mookie Blaylock, a quick-handed player, and he has shown that in the time that he's been in this ball game. We're tied at 24, under 4 minutes to play opening half.
That was Peter Campbell that swung around the baseline and came out, and he is really one of those gutsy overachiever types.
Chris Heller took the pass, made the shot, and we have got another foul on Melvin Robinson, that being his fourth, and he will have to sit down as Dwight Coleman. Rather, Jermaine Morris will check into the game and take it away, Bob.
Well, you take a look inside. Robinson got in the air, and that's what you can't do. He went up for the block, and it's a hard thing when he's used to playing at guys 5'6", even a foot inches, and even a foot shorter, where he's used to going up every shot with a chance to block. But Heller is just as big and can jump, and he's just drawn Robinson into big foul trouble with 4 now.
And if Heller was not confident before that he'd be able to get inside, he has to be now with the 6'11" Robinson on the bench. Heller a second free throw, and the Hawklets have a 2-point advantage. We're at 26-24 over the defending state champions from Vashon.
They stick in the man-to-man. Nice help out.
Anthony Jones.
Oh!
Well, the officials have made it pretty clear that even a touch foul will get called. They're not going to let him play. And, of course, the players' coaches won't complain if it's consistent.
If it's consistent. We're not in the Big Ten today. That's obvious.
Take another look as Anthony Jones. And, boy, Heller got a lot of ball, but apparently just enough for a foul.
A.J. at the line.
First one won't go, but Jones will get another with the Wolverines down by 2. 3:26 to go, opening half. Glad you are with us.
He's looking for his 13th point. He got it.
Nice crowd in Springfield, Missouri, watching today's game at the Hammond Student Center on the campus of Southwest Missouri State. Home of the SMS Bears, knocked out of the NCAA tournament last night by Seton Hall. A shot by Chris Heller was blocked.
Nash with a nice block. Campbell got it back, and then it was taken back from him by Mark Gant. Nice action inside, and Nash with a nice block. And again, he has the quicker feet, I think, to go with Heller.
Gant banged his elbow pretty good, but it's the kind of effort that you expect from a starter on the Vashon team. Matt Ecton from 3 points, and he gets it.
Ecton's a 42% three-point shooter, and he will pop when he can. He has 11 points now.
One of the guys that can score for Rockhurst comes into the game averaging about 10 a game, so he's already ahead of his game average, but he is not afraid to put it up, and certainly not from 3.
Interesting that Campbell, the overachiever, is out guarding Nash.
That's the matchup that Coach Doug Bruce felt was a good one, even though he gives away some size. 6 inches, in fact. Shot is short.
And I could really see the frustration on Nash's face as Campbell was all over him, really leaning the body, albeit a much smaller body, into him.
Ecton guarded by Aaron Walker. Brian Fry looks up top for Pete Campbell. They call him PC. Robert Gamble, Rockhurst showing good patience on offense. They really have not let the air out of the ball as we anticipated they might have to or want to. The ball goes out of bounds. Vashon will get it back, down by 4 with just over 2 minutes to play here in the first half.
Despite Campbell's overachievement abilities, I think they've got to work that mismatch. Well, now they switch back as Fry came back to Nash, so now there really isn't the mismatch that we had the last time down.
Anthony Jones, three-pointer off, and it goes off the hands, I believe, of Nash inside, and Rockhurst will take over. Yeah, I asked Coach Bruce, I said, how can a 6'3" guy handle a 6'9"? He says, hey, I feel okay about that. I said, okay. You know it better than
Campbell does.
Right. It's interesting, the student body at Rockhurst has had quite a few doubts about this team all season long. You know, they don't expect the Hawklets to lose 7 times in a year, but even with those 7 losses, they're playing for a state title. Robert Gamble with the nice bounce gets it to go down. It's 31-25.
You know, the key there, Dave, is with the 7 losses, their record is not as gaudy as the other teams that were in the Final Four. But the reason is because Rockhurst had a good football team, and several of their players were on the football team and didn't really get into the flow until much later, plus injuries were a factor.
Exactly. Chris Powell did not return because of a broken foot till a Christmas tournament. In fact, just after Christmas did he play his first basketball.
Campbell trying to help Fry, doubling Nash. Now we have a timeout.
And Vashon wants to talk about it. With 1:06 to play, they trail Rockhurst 31-25. This is the Missouri 4A Basketball Championship.
B.F. Goodrich GA Radials. Grab, dig, perform. to come, TA, is low and wide. Outlast Pirelli P600 and Goodyear Eagle GT Plus 4. VF Goodrich TA radials. Think of them as athletic shoes for your car.
We will rock you. We will rock you.
LA Gear salutes the captain, six-time most valuable player, the all-time leading scorer, and for an unprecedented 20th season, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
I'd like to add just one footnote to my career.
We will rock you.
.106 remaining in the opening half. Rockhurst leading Vashon by a count of 31-25. Vashon has been pretty frustrated at times. Their big man, 6'11", Melvin Robinson, on the bench with 4 fouls, and they have to operate without him.
Now Nash is being guarded by the sophomore Fry. He's got to work on it.
Pass goes out of bounds, but off of Hawkins, so Vashon will keep possession. Now 48 seconds left. Again, no shot clock in high school basketball, so they can work the shot clock. They can work the clock down to 0 if they prefer, and they probably will.
It's off.
Anthony Jones, guarded by Chris Powell, goes inside to Nash. A baseline turnaround won't go, and a foul inside. Indeed, on Jermaine Morris as he backed into Chris Heller.
You know, on that play, Montrell backed away and shot the fadeaway shot. I'd like to see him. He's been around. He's a senior. He's stronger. Take a look. Now watch. Go ahead and lean in. See, he could have leaned in. Fry's going to come back and get the foul. Montrell knows better than that, and I think he is going to be told to try and take the game to the sophomore.
And again, that's exactly it in terms of experience. Brian Fry is new at this. He's really not even a true sophomore because he's missed most of the year. Ball taken away by Chris Powell, then batted out of bounds by Nash, but Rockhurst will keep. Chris Powell is by Coach Severino, the football coach at Rockhurst, one of the finest players ever in Rockhurst history. Not bad for a junior. That time blocked it. Follow by Chris Heller won't go, and another foul inside, and that's the kind of situation the Hawklets want. Get him at least to the free throw line if the shot won't go down.
And the foul was on Montrell Nash after a nice second effort by Heller. He had the ball stripped loose, was able to grab it back and stick it in.
What's interesting about Chris Heller? Kind of a quiet young man, but one thing that's really helped him bring his personality out is all the recruiting, the hounding that he's had to go through the last couple of years, and talking to recruiters on the phone. He's come out of his shell a little bit, and it's helped him be more aggressive on the court. Second free throw goes down, and it's an 8-point lead.
Going to Missouri, and yet he has 15 points, by the way. UCLA, Kansas, SMU, Illinois, all after Heller. He stick at home, going to Missouri.
Everybody that saw him wanted it. 33-25. Rockhurst by 8. 16 seconds left in the half, and a foul is called on big Brian Fry. Right?
Exactly what we're talking about. Nash just posted him up and said, get me the ball. He's going to try and take it to him, and he got the foul right there. And Nash can hit his free throws. You know, talking about guys staying home, there are 4 guys on this Vashon team, Division I prospects. I know Missouri fans all over this high school network would like to see the homegrown talent stay wherever they are in the state. And the Division I programs popping up all over with St. Louis U, Missouri, Southwest Missouri State, Missouri, Kansas City now in Division I. Southeast Missouri may go Division I. So there's plenty of opportunities for Missouri talent to stay in Missouri.
And a couple of kids from this Vashon tradition at KU, Sean Tunstall, Malcolm Nash.
Anthony Bonner, Guy Bonner's older brother at St. Louis U, and the other Anthony Jones, a vital cog for the St. Louis U Billikens. And with Heller going to Missouri, it's nice to see these kids staying home. And Nash hits that one.
Lane violation gave Montrell Nash another opportunity. Now he gets the second shot.
His first point. Hard to believe as we are almost, what is that, 15 seconds left of the half.
And it would give Vashon a bit of a lift to go into the locker room and a point closer, but it will not be as the ball goes out of bounds off the missed free throw. And the Hawklets will take over and have to deal with a full court pressure by Vashon. The Wolverines would like to get another opportunity to get their hands on the basketball. Ekton works it up as the clock is inside 10 seconds. Down to 6. Chris Powell from three-point range throws up an air ball. And there is the gun. We are at the half. The boys 4A state championship game here in Springfield with Rockhurst of Kansas City leading 33-26. This is the Missouri 4A basketball championship.
Once there were twin sisters who did everything alike. They lived in identical houses, drove identical cars, and even bought identical groceries. But one went to Schnucks National in Deerbergs and paid too much, while the other went to Shop and Save for lower prices on the same name brands, the same produce, the same choice beef every day. They're still twins, but somehow different.
The more you shop, the more you save every day at Shop and Save.
Kids live in the present, lost in their games, curious beyond belief. Kids make life interesting, to say the least. And life being what it is, and the world beyond the schoolyard swing, it's well worth having the peace of mind only this card brings. The one from Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Those who have it feel better than those who don't.
And have them signed by the end of the week.
Report card. Are you glad you hit the books? Report card. Don't you be afraid to look. A report card.
I need something to eat. Kiddies?
How can you think about food at a time like this?
Did you study hard? Good time, great taste. Reporting in and out. Thanks to good time, great taste.
Do you believe this is my dad's signature? No. I didn't think so.
The University of Missouri Columbia is recognized nationally as one of the best buys in college education. Why? Diversity. Mizzou offers a choice of more than 250 degree programs. Quality. A world-renowned university attracts the best and the brightest. So if you're a high school student wondering where in the world you will go next, see what a university known the world over offers you.
Back at the Hammond Student Center in Springfield, Missouri with Rockhurst of Kansas City leading Vashon by a count of 33-26. And a little bit surprising, Vashon has not done the type things that he wants to do. And even though Rockhurst was not able to keep the tempo down, they lead by 7 points.
Yeah, I tell you, Dave Stewart, I think one of the keys was we talked about Floyd Ironside. He had 15 fouls to give to 5. Well, he's already got 4 of them to one of his key players, Melvin Robinson. And, of course, Montrell Nash got his first point just a few seconds ago at the end of the half. Nash has got to get into the flow of things. They've got to get him the ball, especially with the sophomore Fry guarding him.
You've had a chance to see this Vashon team throughout the basketball season. What are they not doing that they need to get back to?
Well, I think another key is, you know, early on when the game was going back and forth, there was a terrific run in the game, and I think a key was the fact that they got a couple of blocks. They were able to release the ball, get a break going, and at least if they didn't get a layup, they got the secondary break, the long jump shot. We came back and forth with a couple of dunks and a couple of three-pointers, and I think that if Vashon can get a little more inside play defensively, I think they'll be all right, but they need to try and get it out and run a little bit.
When we talked to Coach Bruce before the game, the things that he said he liked about this team, confidence and poise. They have shown both of those so far today as they lead Vashon by a count of 33-26. Back with more halftime. This is the Missouri State High School Basketball Network.
Once there were twin sisters who did everything alike. They lived in identical houses, drove identical cars, and even bought identical groceries. But one went to Schnucks National in Deerbergs and paid too much, while the other went to Shop and Save for lower prices on the same name brands, the same produce, the same choice beef every day. They're still twins, but somehow different.
The more you shop, the more you save every day at Shop and Save.
Kids live in the present, lost in their games, curious beyond belief. Kids make life interesting, to say the least. And life being what it is, in the world beyond the schoolyard swing. It's well worth having the peace of mind only this card brings. The one from Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Those who have it feel better than those who don't.
And have them signed by the end of the week.
Report card. Are you glad you hit the books? Report card. Don't you be afraid to look. A report card.
I need something to eat. Kiddies?
How can you think about food at a time like this?
Did you study hard? Good time, great taste. Reporting in at our place. Good time, great taste.
Do you believe this is my dad's signature? No. I didn't think so.
The University of Missouri-Columbia is recognized nationally as one of the best buys in college education. Why? Diversity. Mizzou offers a choice of more than 250 degree programs. Quality. A world-renowned university attracts the best and the brightest. So if you're a high school student wondering where in the world you will go next, see what a university known the world over offers you.
Halftime at the Hammond Center in Springfield, Missouri. 33-26 our score as Kansas City Rockhurst leads St. Louis Vashon. And joining me now, the executive director of the Missouri State High School Activities Association, Jack Miles. Jack, thanks for being with us at halftime, and congratulations, a change of venue, but the excitement is still here, if not even more so.
Oh, it sure is. We've had some real exciting games. I think 3 overtime games here in the last 2 days, and it's been quite an activity. They've done a great job of hosting the event, and we're quite pleased the way things have gone.
Let's talk a little bit about that change of venue. Everyone was automatically used to being in Columbia. Now it's in Springfield here at the Hammond Center. What happened?
Well, we're here on a one-year experimental basis, essentially. We've set our 1A, 2A tournament, which was held the previous week here for 3 years. And we're trying this one on a one-year basis. Springfield has done a great job of hosting it, and they've presented this great proposal, the one we felt we could not consider. And so we felt that we should give it a try. And, of course, obviously one concern is most of the schools in the 3A, 4A are from the metropolitan areas, Kansas City and St. Louis. So we felt maybe before making a 3-year commitment, we'd give it a try and see how it worked out.
Well, so far, so good. I wanted to ask you, too, everyone looks at the high-profile part of the Missouri State High School Activities Association, maybe through athletics. But I think the key is there, it's not athletic association, it's activities association.
That's right, Bob. I have to say, agree with what you're saying. Most people relate us to sports. Actually, we have music and speech and debate in our activities program as well. We sponsor some 19 different state tournaments in sports activities, but then we have a state speech and music festival as well.
And you work those through Jefferson City, Columbia, and you change those venues as well?
Oh, most of the events are in Columbia at this point, although we do have a number of events in St. Louis. We have the state soccer tournament there, and we do move around depending on facility, the interest of the schools, the participation. So, but majority of them are in Columbia.
We've got another winner right here in Springfield. Thanks for stopping by, and a continued good success to the State High School Association.
Great, Bob. Thanks. Good job.
That's Jack Miles. We're going to take a break and come back here at halftime. 33-26 our score. Rockhurst leads Vashon. This is the Missouri.
It was just like out of a movie. It was the 4th of July. I was about 9. I was looking out the window of our house when all of a sudden, lightning hit a tree in our front yard. And it was that sparked my interest in weather. From that point on, I've been hooked. Went to school, in college, got a meteorology degree, and now I'm here. The scientist in me is always looking at the instruments and the data. But the little kid in me still likes to look outside first.
Brian Busby on Channel 9, where the weather news comes first.
Another day dawns. But no one knows exactly what the day will bring. Not even the weatherman. And that being the case, it's well worth having the peace of mind only this card gives you. The one from Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Those who have it feel better than those who don't.
It's time to visit one of the world's great garden spots. The Lawn and Garden Department at your local True Value hardware store. where you'll find this dependable deluxe Lawn Chief 20-inch mower with 3.5 horsepower engine for just $149.88. The Poland 16-inch gas chainsaw with accessories is only $139.99. And this powerful electric blower from Weed Eater clears debris fast for just $25.88. At participating True Value hardware stores and home centers.
Southwest Missouri State University is building for the future. And as a result, the university's skyline is changing. In 1986, the university opened the $11 million state-of-the-art Hammond House Residence Hall. In December of '87, the College of Business Administration moved into the $14.2 million David D. Glass Hall. And a new $10.8 million Performing Arts Center is projected to be open within the next 2 years. Southwest Missouri State University, building for the future.
Back at the Hammond Student Center in Springfield, Missouri, with Rockhurst leading the defending champions 33-26. If I'd have told you this a couple of hours ago, what would you have said?
I would have said, very interesting. No, I tell you, 33-26, it's anybody's game. I don't know if I'd call this low scoring, but it is probably more, if you like the way the scores are, it's probably more in the hands of Rockhurst than Vashon right now. Vashon would like to get out and run that score up a little bit higher, pick up the pace just a little bit.
Now, the Wolverines not used to being behind, but they're experienced enough to know how to play up to their capabilities, to get back to doing the things that they do well, and to, get some momentum going again.
Yeah, I think there's no question that Montrell Nash is going to have to be a key here in the second half. He only has 1 point. They're going to have to work it into him, and I'm sure that's what they talked about at halftime.
We are not that far away from the second half of action here in the boys 4A State Championship High School game. This is the Missouri 4A Basketball Network.
I'm Pat Schroeder with a news update from Budget Rent-A-Car. What to do when your car heads for the shop. Oliver C. Reed reports.
It's the frustration factor, being late for work, getting the children to school, missing appointments. But, Pat, all this need not be. Budget Rent-A-Car Replacement Service provides all size cars, compacts, luxury cars, and minivans for as little as $19 a day. First, you make your repair shop appointment, then you call Budget to reserve the car you need, and Budget will pick you up when you drop off your car.
That's news update from Budget Rent-A-Car.
People continue to talk about First News on KMBC TV Channel 9. Anil Patel says, I'm one of your great fans. I never miss watching First News. Lena Garrison says, no matter how bad and cruel the news is, you all have a way of making it easier to take. And from Jean and Rayanne Clark, this has been the most pleasant wake-up call we've ever experienced.
Thank you for watching First News.
Join us again tomorrow.
First News, weekday mornings at 6:30 only on KMBC TV Channel 9, where the news comes first.
Are you prejudiced? Do you ever tell ethnic jokes? Do you think the Jewish are tight with money? Is it okay to steer a Hispanic couple away from moving into an all-white neighborhood? Check your attitude. Share your views by phone as a live audience discusses prejudice in the Kansas City area, Monday night from 6:30 to 8. Join Lori Everett, Chris Ketz, and me for this Harmony in a World of Difference special. Check your attitude on KMBC TV Channel 9.
Those are the numbers behind the pictures. Rockhurst Hawkless leading the Vashon Wolverines 33-26 at the half as we get ready for the second half.
Yeah, Dave, let's take a look at some of the stats as we do. Let's take a listen to some of the stats as I'll read them out here for you. Rockhurst hitting 52% from the field. Vashon 47, 9 out of 19. They'll pick that up a little bit, I think, in the second half. Free throws, 10 of 13. The key, I think, here in the free throws is that Rockhurst has been to the line 13 times. Vashon, 4 out of 6, which is okay, except that we're only talking about 6 attempts. So they'd like to get to the line. Here is a key that surprised me. 16 rebounds for Rockhurst to only 7 for Vashon. Melvin Robinson's been on the bench quite a bit, and that could be a key there. The fellas are just going to have to hit the glass if Vashon is going to win their second state championship in a row.
When you talk about comparing teams on paper, you would think that Vashon would have a huge advantage. A 6'11 player, a 6'9 player, a couple of 6'6, 6'5. You look at the Hawklets, a 6'10 center in Chris Heller, a senior, but a 6'9 sophomore in Brian Fry. We are coming back. This is the Missouri State High School Basketball Network.
School Class 4A championship game.
Brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Missouri, by the University of Missouri Columbia, the natural choice of the state's brightest students, by Busch Gardens Tampa, it's a day's adventure, by your local McDonald's restaurants, by Zenith, proud to welcome the Missouri State Championships to Springfield, home of Zenith quality products, by True Value Hardware, your store of first choice, and by Converse. Look for the Energy Wave in Con's ERX basketball shoes.
For the second half for Rockhurst, 34 Peter Campbell, 35 Brian Fry, 41 Chris Heller, 22 Chris Powell, and 24 Matt Hector. For Vashon, number 40 Dwayne Coleman, 52 Montrell Nash, 24 Mark Gant, 0 Anthony Jones, and 44 Jermaine Morris.
The second half tip-off is coming right up after this reminder from your local sponsor.
Go wide.
33-26, Rockhurst leading Vashon. Both teams coming out on the floor as we head on to the second half.
A couple individual stats as you look at the score. Heller with 15, Ecton with 11, Anthony Jones, AJ for Vashon has 12, Walker with 6. By the way, in the key stat possibly, Robinson, who is not starting the second half, has 4 personal fouls.
On the alternate possession, Vashon will start with the basketball, and Anthony Jones from 20 feet off target, but the rebound pulled down by the Wolverines, and Montrell Nash, who throws up a shot, missing, and Chris Heller there for the rebound, so the advantage on rebounding continues.
Yeah, Nash got the rebound, went straight up, tried to get into him, but they laid back. He tried to get into their arms just a little bit and get a foul, but he's going to have to take it to him and drive to the hole.
Brian Fry way out of his element, 25 feet from the basket at 6'9". And Chris Powell looks for somebody, and he finds him in the corner in Matt Ecton. 7:14 to go here in the third quarter. Rockhurst, the surprise 7-point leader at 33-26. The Hawklets have a confidence going against the Vashon Wolverines, and that's one of the reasons. Chris Heller, who likes to take it to the hoop strong, doesn't get it, but he can get a couple of free throw opportunities.
And he put the foul on Montrell Nash. And Vashon could be in trouble if Nash can't stop him without fouling him. And looked like that as they came down first possession of the half. Vashon looked like they might have been trying to pick up the intensity a little bit on the defensive end. And what you do when you pick up the defensive intensity is then you can turn that into transition and pick up the intensity 94 feet.
You talked about Rockhurst with the advantage on free throw opportunities. That was the 14th of the day, upcoming number 15, and Chris Heller takes advantage of both. And Rockhurst with its biggest lead of the day at 35-26.
Heller with 17 points.
Down by 9, but Vashon can fill it up in a hurry with 3-pointers, and Anthony Jones, who has an ability to do that, works out top. Matt Ecton guarding as Rockhurst plays defense. Morris from 15 feet won't go, and rebound underneath by sophomore Brian Fry, and the Hawklets come away into forecourt.
Rockhurst had gone back into that, I believe that was their triangle and 2 that was very successful in the first half.
Chris Powell, who's been in somewhat of a shooting slump, the alley-oop to Heller underneath, a block by Nash, but the second try, and a foul underneath, this time on Dwayne Coleman. So they're passing those 15 fouls around.
Yeah, they certainly are, and I'm impressed the more I see. That's his second, by the way. And I'm very impressed the more I see of Heller, because a tremendous second effort, and the guy can get up. He can leap a little bit.
He's determined. He's been talking about it all season long, telling Coach, hey, I want to get an opportunity for another state championship before I get out of here.
Yeah, it'd be so easy for a kid. Oh, I'm going to Mizzou. I'm going to the big time, and maybe get his priorities a little mixed up, but he has not forgotten that he's still at Rockhurst and a chance for another title.
19 points on the day after 2 more free throws, and the Hawklets lead by 11 with 6:15 to play here. Third period, 3-point try by Anthony Jones, no good, but coming away with it is Mark Gant, who drives inside. The shot won't go, and another opportunity by Montrell Nash on a stick back, and That's one thing that the Wolverines would like, those second opportunities down near the basket as they pull back within one. Rockhurst breaking the press. A three-point shot, no good by Heller, knocked out of bounds. And we talked about Chris Heller doing just about everything, and he just about knocked down the three-pointer.
Yeah, he can shoot the three-pointer. But in a high school game, at this time of the game, I don't know if that's exactly the shot you want. Although he can shoot it. I guess anyone you hit is good at this point.
Well, if it goes down, you're a hero, I guess.
Nice block.
Brian Fry, just a sophomore, has played pretty much the duration of this one and has really not shown any jitters. In fact, Coach told us before the game he has somewhat of a mean streak.
A.J. with the steal.
The ball right in front of us. Jones dishes off inside, and a nice hook shot by Dwayne Coleman.
Defensive intensity, picking up the transition game. 94 feet, and he got the bucket. Anthony Jones with a tremendous steal.
Vashon on a bit of a roll as the Wolverines move back within 7 points.
I thought that ball he knocked away was going to take you out of the game, Dave.
Yeah, just about. I was going to give the whole thing to you.
Nash, nice defense without fouling.
Shot won't go by Heller, and Vashon with an opportunity to pull within 4. 5 if it would be less than a three-pointer.
Nice pass by Nash to kick it out as he was triple teamed. So many times a player will be frustrated trying to force things. But against the triangle inner defense that collapsed on him, Nash did a nice job kicking it out.
Gant works inside. A leaning 12-footer gets nothing but air. A follow shot won't go by Morris, and we've got a foul called underneath on Vashon. That's going to be on Montrell Nash.
Again, the key there, Montrell trying to do too much on his own. There was no way he could have gotten that ball when he went over the back.
We are going to take a break. 4:51 to go in the period. 37-30 Rockhurst. This is the Missouri State High School Basketball Network.
Come, experience a place that is like no other. Busch Gardens at Tampa Bay, Florida.
Feel your heart beat, 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 beat. Beat strong, 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 strong. Your heart beats strong. Feel the rhythm. Beat, beat, feel the light. Beat, beat, beat. Feel the freedom. Beat inside you forever. Beat, beat, beat inside you forever. Beat, beat, beat.
Busch Gardens at Tampa Bay. No place else.
Shop and Save brings you lower prices every day on America's freshest, finest produce and over 15,000 name brands like these.
Always delicious Safari ground coffee, the Shop and Save price $3.47. Red Baron pizza, sausage, or pepperoni, the Shop and Save price only $2.87. Keebler or Boise's original flavor potato chips, the Shop and Save price $1.29.
The more you shop, the more you save. Every day, get Shop and Save.
After the big game or after that tough practice, sports shake for Missouri's athletes. And we are seeing some of the finest in high school basketball here at the Hammond Student Center in Springfield, Missouri.
2-2-1 pressure.
Vashon trying to make it difficult for the Hawklets to get the ball up court, but they're able to do it. Nearly thrown away, but Pete Campbell alertly there to save it for the Hawklets. They can just wear you down so many ways, and one of them that full court pressure, but that time Rockhurst able to keep its cool. Eller works up top.
Rockhurst did a good job against the press from Jefferson City last night in the semifinal.
Matt Ecton nearly traveled with the basketball, but Heller saved it. The Hawklets may want to work a little bit of clock. They haven't really done that yet today, but with Vashon trying to take some of the momentum back, pulling within 7. Once down by 11, and a drive won't go by Chris Powell. A follow shot no good. And rebound, Vashon coming the other way. It's Mark Gant. A three-pointer is good, and Vashon with that within 4 at 37-33.
You gotta like that. Gant saw that he didn't have anyone to pass to in the break, so he stopped, checked his feet, and bang, hit the tray.
That has something to do with being part of a successful program, being a senior, knowing what to do. The ball knocked away, and it's 3-on-2. Vashon the other way. Gant will look inside. The pass goes to Coleman, but he's fouled by Chris Heller.
Vashon using the defense to turn it up. They're turning it up.
Rockhurst trying to keep its cool. Vashon trying to help them lose it.
They're going to get a TO, baby. I had to say it. Sorry, I had to say it.
We forgive you. 37-33. Rockhurst over Vashon. This is the Missouri 4A Basketball Championship. Don't go.
These kids have a foot up on safety. They're wearing Critic-Kid Safety Crew tags, laminated microfilm chips that attach to their shoelaces. So wherever kids' feet go, through rain or mud or playground dirt, go health records and identification that could save lives in an emergency. If you'd like more information, put your best foot forward and cross the road to Kentucky Fried Chicken. Look for complete details on the KMBC 9 News Critic-Kid Safety Crew for Kids. The Ice Capades are coming to Kansas City. Don't miss Olympic silver medalist Elizabeth Manley and the California Raisins April 4th through 9th at Kemper Arena. And opening night is Channel 9 Family Night, co-sponsored by United Super. You can get tickets for half price.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Manley, Olympic silver medalist. I'll see you in Kansas City when KMBC Channel 9 and United Super present Family Night at the Ice Capade Show, Tuesday, April 4th at the Kemper Arena.
This game is brought to you in part by National Car Rental, who feature fine General Motors products. See National's 2 convenient St. Louis locations at Lambert International Airport and downtown. For more information, call 1-800-CAR-RENT. National Car Rental, the official car rental company for the NCAA championships. Vashon's Dwayne Coleman at the free throw line as we resume play. Misses the first opportunity, but he gets one more as Vashon tries to add an 8th consecutive point, and they can't do it as Chris Heller comes away after the missed free throw.
Let's see if after the timeout, if it was effective in staving off the momentum that had been created by Vashon's defense.
The tide did indeed start to turn back the Wolverines' way as they reeled off 7 unanswered points. Still, Rockhurst on top by 4, 37-33. We have 3 minutes remaining here in the 3rd period of play. Brian Fry goes back out to Pete Campbell, and Rockhurst perhaps a little bit frustrated, but again, the Hawkets want to take their time and not make any silly mistakes, not turn the basketball over as Matt Ecton fires from 20. The shot won't go, and it's Vashon the other way as the Hawkets hustle back on defense. Anthony Jones pulls it back out.
Yeah, wisely.
Gant from 20 feet won't go. The ball goes out of bounds, but Vashon will keep as Robert Gamble, a senior leader, will check back into the ball game.
Big break for Vashon right there, Dave, as Nash was fighting for that rebound. And it's instinct. He's going for the ball, but he's got to be careful not to go over the back.
Pretty good handoff between football players there. Chris Powell, fullback linebacker. Robert Gamble headed for UCLA. And he's on as Gant fires and misses from 15, and rebound. Rockhurst will walk it slowly the other way as Anthony Jones applies modest pressure on Matt Ecton. 37-33. The defending state champions from Vashon trail by 4.
Nice. Nice pass, Campbell. That kid's tough.
A big-time play by a senior to sophomore combination. Brian Fry scores as Rockhurst breaks a little bit of a scoring drought.
Campbell's not going to play college ball, but he's talking about maybe going to Mizzou just to hang out with his buddy Heller and go to journalism school. I think you and I need to tell Campbell, go to law school, go to med school, don't get into journalism.
Try something else.
Trust us on this, Campbell.
But we're having fun bringing you this game all over the state of Missouri as Rockhurst leads it by 6, and Robert Gamble on the inbounds tried to find big Chris Heller, but that man, Pete Campbell, PC, just talking about him, headed for Missouri, and the other way is ball nearly stolen away by Anthony Jones, but it's going to cost him a foul. And he says, well, okay, you're probably right.
Take a look at it right there. AJ saw the pass coming, but hit him with the body trying to dive for the loose ball.
For the first time, Chris Cotton checks into the ball game as Brian Fry will sit down. Now, when Vashon plays kind of a 1-3-1 zone, they find a void in the zone at about 15 feet. They think Cotton can hit from 12 to 15. They want to see if Vashon stays with that zone, if Cotton might be able to pop a couple of times. Meantime, Matt Ecton at the free throw line knocks down a first free throw as Rockhurst builds its advantage back to 7. The try for 8 is no good, but underneath
there he is, Campbell.
The stick back by Pete Campbell. Rockhurst goes on top by 9.
That's nothing but hustle.
Overachiever, right. One of those guys willing to go to war for you, and Anthony Jones answers with the three-pointer, and like that, it's a 6-point game.
Nice pick by Montrell Nash to free him up.
That's what you need sometimes. Just get enough of an opportunity to get a clear shot, get your feet square, and put up a good opportunity, and Jones is a guy that can knock them.
Working the ball, Nash with the steal.
Ball knocked out of bounds. Chris Cotton watched it roll out, knowing the Hawklets would get it back, or at least hoping that would indeed be the case. Robert Gamble on the inbounds. Nice cut underneath as Pete Campbell scores again. Boy, nice cut. Nice cut to the hoop as Rockhurst goes up by 8. Under a minute to go here in the third now.
Seems like all great teams have somebody like a Campbell, and regardless of the sport, maybe not the most gifted athlete. Oh, but speaking of gifted athletes, Anthony Jones.
Plain and simple, Anthony Jones can shoot, and he keeps them close within 5, and 39 seconds to go here in the third. As we show you the clock and count it down.
Rockhurst working against that pressure.
Chris Heller, nice little turnaround. Boy, he is deadly inside 8 feet.
He's used that a couple of times this afternoon, Dave. A little spin move to the left.
New terminology, basketball lingo, on the blocks. Really, basically, 5 feet and in close to the basket, and he's so effective there.
Nice touch by Nash. He can shoot the 15-footer.
Nash is a big guy, not afraid to put it up from outside, and he brings Vashon back within 5 as the gun sounds. We are headed to the fourth and final period. 46-41 Rockhurst. This is the Missouri State High School Basketball Network.
If you haven't seen what Zenith's been doing lately, what you've been missing?
When you're up against tough dirt, come to True Value Hardware stores, where tough competitors take it away. With strong Palmyra bristles and a self-locking handle, this Super Brute 18-inch broom from Empire is just $8.99. Get floors shiny clean in no time flat with this easy Roll-O-Matic sponge mop, only $7.99. And put trash away to stay inside the super tough roughneck container from Rubbermaid, just $12.88 at participating True Value Hardware stores and home centers.
Come experience a place that is like no other. Busch Gardens at Tampa Bay, Florida.
Feel your heart beat, 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 beat strong, 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 strong. Your heart beats strong. Feel the rhythm, beat, beat, feel the light, beat, beat, beat. Feel the freedom beat inside you forever. Beat, beat, beat inside you forever. Beat, beat, beat.
Busch Gardens at Tampa Bay, no place else.
The University of Missouri Columbia is recognized nationally as one of the best buys in college education. Why? Diversity. Mizzou offers a choice of more than 250 degree programs. Quality. A world-renowned university attracts the best and the brightest. So if you're a high school student wondering where in the world you'll go next, see what a university known the world over offers you.
The defending state champions from Vashon were down by 7 at halftime. As we head to the final period, the Wolverines trail the Hawklets by 5. 8 minutes to go, and the big guy back in, 6'11", Melvin Robinson.
He has 4 fouls. Will they try and take it to him, or just try and take the air out of the basketball and not worry about him? Let nature take its course.
Chris Heller had 15 points at halftime, now with 21, and he'll have to work against a couple of very big obstacles. Still, they try to work the alley-oop to him, and it won't go as Nash comes back the other way. Right.
Did a terrific job, Dave.
Anthony Jones in traffic. Dishes off. They lose the ball, but Jones there to secure it. Vashon tries to work a pick, and all of a sudden, Jones is double teamed. Into Gant. Leaning footer is good.
It is a PTP. I had to say that one too, Dave.
It was a big one, as Vashon able to come back within 3 at 46-43. We've got a ball game. Chris Cotton, a reserve, remains in the ball game, but sophomore Brian Fry at 6'9", about ready to check back in. Robert Gamble works the ball to Pete Campbell, and Rockhurst wants to take its time and not force a mistake, not beat itself. We're inside 7 minutes to play with the Hawklets up by 3. Cotton in the corner to Matt Ecton, who was effective early shooting the ball, but we've got a foul down low, and you don't suppose.
No, I believe that was on, I believe that's on Mark Gant. I believe he tried to bump Ecton as he went on the baseline, gave him a little tip, trying to knock him out of bounds.
The whistle a little bit too close for the big guy Robinson. He looked around to make sure it wasn't his number that was going to be called. Cotton sits down as a couple of substitutions are made.
Guy Bonner comes in for St. Louis Vashon.
Matt Ecton at the free throw line continues to be productive at the line, and Rockhurst has really had the advantage shooting free throws.
Ecton with 13 points there, you saw it.
And a 14th as the Hawklets go back up by 4. 6:40 to play here in the 4A Boys State Championship game. Anthony Jones gets a pick from Melvin Robinson, and ball nearly squirted away, but Vashon will keep. Gant from 3-point, and he knocks it down. 48-46. Vashon within 2, the closest they have been in a long, long time. Down by as many as 11 in the third quarter.
They're back to their 2-2-1 trap.
Robert Gamble works the ball over in the corner as they try to get the ball to the big guy, Chris Heller, and a nice, strong move. Pretty good indication Robinson had 4 fouls because he never challenged him as he took it right to the hoop.
Heller with 23.
50-46, the Hawklets by 4. Guy Bonner looks up top, and Vashon going with a smaller lineup, I suppose. We have seen at times today. They've got some good shooters in, and 6'2" Guy Bonner, Mark Gant, Anthony Jones as Rockhurst works the other way. Again inside to Heller. The shot won't go, but a foul is called, and that might be the 4th on Mr. Nash.
That's one of those calls that very close. That is Nash's 4th foul. So he and Robinson both have 4. Let's see who bumps who. This is a tough call for officials. Ouch. Who bumped who there? Who initiated the contact? Tough call to make. Tough call to make.
I'll try to look from up top and see how it looks as Heller went strong to the basket, and I guess they bumped each other, but the call going against the defense. Heller hits the first free throw. We'll get a second as Michael Buford into the ball game for the first time today.
Montrell didn't want to come out of the game. He wanted to stay in with 4, but 5:23 left. He'll have time to get back in and make a contribution.
Nash, 6'9", 4 fouls. So they give away some height as the second free throw won't go, but rebound, and the ball is stepped out of bounds, so it'll go back to Vashon.
It's up to Melvin Robinson right now to stand up and be counted for Vashon, playing with 4 fouls, but his partner Montrell Nash is on the bench. Down by 5. Vashon needs to make a move.
Anthony Jones going against Chris Powell back into the game. Robinson, a turnaround won't go, and a rebound by a little guy. 6'1" Robert Gamble working in traffic with guys half a foot taller. The Hawklets just inside 5 minutes with the basketball, on top by 5. Brian Fry at 6'7" and still growing, we're told. Played pretty solid basketball. Really came on beginning of February, coming back from an arthroscopic knee surgery as he works on the left corner and finds Robert Gamble up top.
Vashon in that matchup zone.
Score pretty much the kind Rockhurst would hoping it would be. A game in the 40s, in the 50s with 4.5 minutes to go, and we've got a blocking call on big Chris Powell. I say big because he weighs 200 pounds at 6 feet tall.
Yeah, Powell jumped in on Anthony Jones. And we'll take a break here, Dick.
We will take a break with 4:27 to go to determine a champion. 51-46 Rockhurst. This is the Missouri State High School Basketball Network.
Every job needs its own special tool. But now there's a tool that can help you do nearly every job. The Hardware Week Circular from True Value Hardware Stores, where the Black & Decker 11-piece bullet drill bit set with pilot point design is just $11.49. This entryway motion sensing light control from Heath Zenith for $19.99 covers a 4,000 square foot area. And this Master Mechanic 20-inch plastic toolbox is $13.99 at participating True Value Hardware Stores and home centers.
Some things in this world just can't be explained. The energy wave from Converse. Cons give you the power of the wave.
Converse Cons ERX basketball shoes are available at Casey Sports in St. Louis, Howard's Athletics in Cape Girardeau, Bass Pro Shops here in Springfield, D Sports in Columbia, Athlete's Foot in Kansas City, and Walt's Shoe in Joplin. And if they did not get our order before, an 11 for Bob Ramsey and 9.5 for me.
At the Bass Pro Shop here in Springfield,
we can pick up some lures and a pair of shoes out of town.
Sure.
4:26 to play as the clock again begins to run down. 51-46. The defending champions from Vashon down by a handful. Gant with the notion inside. The ball knocked away by Brian Fry. Nice defense. And Rockhurst will come the other way and again work the clock. Robert Gamble wants to find the big guy, Chris Heller, and he does. They want to get the ball in his hands as often as possible. Arguably the finest player in the Kansas City area, or he was. This is his last game, and he wants to go out as a state champion. Ball dribbled out of bounds, and Powell looks for a sign, and the Hawklets will keep as Matt Ecton, point guard for Rockhurst, comes back into the game. Powell will have a seat with 3:46 to go. The Hawklets still up by 5. There has been no intimidation either way. Just a good basketball game. Quite a shot off the glass underneath by Chris Heller as the Hawklets lead it by 7.
He has 25, and that was a nice move in between Vashon's twin towers. He just sniped to the basket. He's more than just a big guy.
Chris Heller, a polite, gentle sort of guy. Till you get him on the basketball court, and then he'll do just that. Nice block. And Rockhurst comes the other way with 3:19 to go. The Hawklets up by 7. Brian Fry opposite Melvin Robinson, working with 4 fouls on the court as again they go to Heller. Ball knocked away in the battle won by Gannett. Vashon comes down in a hurry. 20-footer is missing, but we've got a foul and a knockout on Matt Ecton.
As it turns out, Ecton's foul is a good one because Robinson was going to tear down the backboard on his way back up.
And some of the frustration beginning to show, as it has much of the day, really on the big 6'11 Robinson, who has really not been able to get anything going. Powell will come back in. Ecton has a seat as Rockhurst changes guards for the second time in about a minute. Inside 3 minutes to play. Vashon working down by 7.
Yeah, they're switching guards, offensive, defensive ends to try and... It's a chess match out there with the final 2.5 minutes plus.
Anthony Jones, nothing on a 12-footer. Robinson works inside, and a slap foul and disbelief on the face of Chris Powell as he's called for trying to make a steal.
Nice pivot move in there by Robinson.
Well, with under 3 minutes to go, 4 fouls on Robinson. They're going to try to get him the basketball, see if he can help this team pick up the slack. Down by 7. Nearly stolen by Pete Campbell, but couldn't keep his momentum from nearly knocking over Anthony Jones. PC went head over heels, and a foul called on Rockhurst.
Anthony Jones saw him coming and just protected the basketball. Campbell, with a big effort, couldn't come up with a steal, and it'll put Anthony Jones at the line. And when you're trying to get back into a game, when you can get to the free throw line, you can make up ground without losing any clock. And so getting into the bonus is exactly what Vashon needed.
And again, the musical guards continue as it is Ecton back on the floor. Powell takes a seat, and Anthony Jones to the free throw line, shooting the big front end of a 1-and-1. And he nails the first as the Wolverines move within 53-46, 2:36 to go. Aaron Walker, fine shooting guard, will check back in. Guy Bonner has his seat. So the guys that can fill it up from three-point range, with Vashon down by 6, checking into the ballgame. Anthony Jones, 19 points on the day, goes for number 20, gets it, 53-48. Vashon within 5, clock ticking inside, 2:35 to go.
2-2-1 trap again.
Robert Gamble in a bit of trouble, but Chris Heller comes out to save the day. Back to Heller from Peter Campbell, and a block. Nice follow by Fry, but a foul by Montrell Nash, and he is done for the day with 2:22 to go.
History archives out of here. Memory ghost. He's gone. Tough break for Vashon. And it's what happened to Jefferson City last night. Their big people got in foul trouble. And you have to credit Fry and Heller for getting him into foul trouble and taking it to the hole.
Pretty good illustration of the veteran appearance that we've seen out of Brian Fry, a sophomore down the stretch, playing big, as we take another look at the foul inside. And Heller couldn't get it to go, but Fry went to the hoop strong at 6'7" with a mean streak. We are told that he's got a couple of more years to put on some more weight, grow a little bit, and get a bit meaner on the court as Rockhurst tries to build on its 5-point lead. Brian Fry front into the 1-and-1, and he coolly knocks it down.
He has 7 now. I hope as he puts on weight, and I'm sure they'll get him in the weight room, I hope he calms down with his temper a little bit.
One of the stars of the team might have to hitch a ride to practice. He might not be 16, but the second one goes, and Fry puts Rockhurst back up by 7 with 2:18 to play. As Anthony Jones is certainly going to try to find a 3-point opportunity. Mark Gant working up top to Anthony Jones, who had an idea to
for AJ a little soon, a little too quick. You got to get the timing of it so as he springs free, he can pop the tray.
Oh, he got outside, and a 3-point opportunity by Gant. And just like that, it's a 4-point game at 55-51. No over-advertising. We told you they could fill it up from 3-point range, and we have seen that in the quickness of Anthony Jones, but not quick enough. Fouled Matt Ecton, and we'll get the 1-and-1 free throw opportunity.
At least he stopped the clock. That's a small consolation for Anthony Jones, but he did not want Rockhurst to be able to continue to chew up the clock. Now it's a battle of fouling, try and get the ball back. And as I mentioned, Vashon's got to get the timing of the pick so it'll spring Anthony Jones or Gant at the right moment. That time Gant didn't need a pick, however, as he just drained it from 3-point country.
And you know, we've really seen a good ball game. A couple of good teams today. Rockhurst came in at 22-7. Vashon an outstanding 28-3, but boy, they've battled toe-to-toe and nose-to-nose all day long. We've got a timeout by Vashon. They want Matt Ecton to think about it a little bit. Minute 44 to play. 55-51 Rockhurst. This is the Missouri 4A Basketball Championship.
I really need to leave early. My car's still in the shop, and my only way home is the bus.
But why? Just rent a replacement car from Budget, as little as $19 a day.
I can't make the meeting, John. My car's in the shop, and I have no replacement.
But why? Budget's replacement service provides full-size cars, luxury cars, compacts, and minivans.
Will someone just call me a cab?
But why? Call Budget for a pickup at the repair shop. Budget Rent-A-Car. Why not?
The Ice Capades are coming to Kansas City. Don't miss Olympic silver medalist Elizabeth Manley and the California Raisins, April 4th through 9th at Kemper Arena. And opening night is Channel 9 Family Night, co-sponsored by United Super. You can get tickets for half price.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Manley, Olympic silver medalist. I'll see you in Kansas City when KMBC Channel 9 and United Super present Family Night at the Ice Capade Show, Tuesday, April 4th at the Kemper Arena.
Back live at the Hammond Student Center on the campus of SMS, home of the Bears, as Dave Stewart, Bob Ramsey courtside, and we are a long way from being over. 1:44 to play. Rockhurst leading Vashon, the defending state champions, 55-51. Matt Ecton, perhaps the biggest free throw of his high school career, and the first one won't go down. Vashon the other way with a chance to pull within one if the Wolverines get a three-point opportunity, and you know they like to try it. Ball goes out of bounds, and boy, a tough break as it goes off the knee of Gannon. Rockhurst caught a huge break.
Gant was getting ready to shake and bake, and he baked when he should have shaked, apparently. He was going to try and make a move, gave a little head and shoulders fake, a little stutter step while he was dribbling, and just brought the knee up too high. And a tough break for Vashon because they had gotten the rebound off the missed free throw. It played it perfectly into their hands.
And you saw the look of concern along the Vashon bench as they're watching their team operate on the floor, down by 4 with 1:22 and counting. Brian Fry has played above his sophomore status today, and Rockhurst trying to work as much clock as they can with a 4-point lead. 15-footer by Heller won't go, and here comes Vashon down by 4. 1:05 to play. Three-point shot is good by Mark Gant, and it's a 1-point game under a minute to go.
What a shot by Gant. You had to be worried that Gant would be forcing it up because of his prior mistake, but that was a beauty.
Rockhurst able to break the 2-on-2 full-court pressure applied by Vashon, and the Hawklets with the basketball up by 1 with only 40 ticks remaining. And talk about a chess game, this is where the strategy really comes in. You see the time remaining now, 30 seconds to go. Matt Ecton in the corner, but he gets out of trouble. And that's the guy they would like to hold the basketball for as long as possible. Chris Heller, who's been deadly from the free throw line today. 14 seconds to go, and all of a sudden Vashon has to make a decision and foul somebody, and finally there it is. Aaron Walker reaches in with the foul, and we talked about a huge free throw before by Matt Ecton. Wipe it out. This is the big one.
I think one of the problems, Dave, was the fact that Vashon didn't know who to foul because Rockhurst kept it in the hands of Ecton. Then Heller had a shot, had a chance by Heller, but he can shoot free throws.
And as we stand right next to Coach Floyd Irons, he said, hey, as soon as Ecton touches the ball, call a timeout. And that's exactly what happens. We are going to keep it right here. 9 seconds to play in this boys 4A state championship game. Rockhurst will have Matt Ecton at the free throw line, shooting the front end of a 1-and-1. The Hawklets lead Vashon 55-54. And if Ecton has ice in his veins, we'll soon find out.
All right, here's your situation, Dave. Down by 1. Floyd Irons is talking about his possibilities, what he wants to do. If Ecton, this is unlikely, if Ecton should miss the front end again, then you can come down and work for the best shot you can get in 9 seconds. If he hits, well, now here's the gutsy move. Do you go for the win or do you go for the tie? If he hits them both, you've still got a chance, however. And, of course, that's the big difference in the three-point shot in our game the last couple of years. Because if he hits both free throws, the front end and the bonus, then he can come down and he's got to set up Gant and Anthony Jones for the three-point jumper. They've got to try and go for the tie there. Of course, Doug Bruce is talking about the same options. They don't want to foul. Of course, now here's a situation. Let's say that Ecton hits them both. They're up by 3. If you foul, if it looks like they're going to get a chance for a three-point shot, you foul, put them to the line. They can only get 2. You win by 1.
And Floyd Irons will keep players on the bench who can fill it up from three-point range. They have had 3 on the floor most of the time, and we have really seen a couple of fine basketball teams end their season today, and a couple of fine coaches in Doug Bruce and Floyd Irons. Both 40 years old, both have been at their respective school and had success over an extended period, and it's nice guys that have had success have stayed there. They're both obviously happy and great places, and once again continuing great traditions on both sides of the state. Vashon on the St. Louis side, and Rockhurst on the Kansas City side, and it all comes down to this, the final 9 seconds. And the fans here, nearly a full house at the Hammond Student Center in Springfield, watching a good one, as Matt Ecton has a chance to not necessarily seal things for the Hawklets, but certainly put them in an outstanding situation to win the game.
Vashon has to get it up the floor. That's
Nothing
a big one.
to it. Nothing to it. Ecton turns around, points to Robert Gamble.
Now, this bonus is the key because he can determine the kind of shot Vashon has to get. They have to get a 3.
As the Rockhurst crowd erupts, Vashon is in need of a three-pointer. Pressure met at full court by the Hawklets, and a timeout called by Gant.
Now you have 4 seconds, Dave, to set up your three-point shot. We talked a few minutes ago about setting your picks. You'll be inbounding from the far side of the floor, in between the hash mark, and well, actually a little bit closer to the center stripe. Vashon will have to inbound. Now, you've seen Kansas City Rockhurst play more than I have. I don't know if Doug Bruce likes to get out there. He's got the trees out there. Does he want to get one of those trees on the inbound pass? That's a possibility. Some coaches don't like to guard the inbound pass at all. Pack it in. Of course, I think you guard the inbound pass right now, knowing Vashon has to go through for a three-point shot. Don't worry about giving him a layup, because a layup's not going to do him any good. You've got to block the inbound pass and watch and be careful not to get picked off, as Floyd Irons is going to want to have somebody to set one for Anthony Jones or Gant. Mark Gant, who drained 2 3-pointers earlier in this quarter.
And 4 seconds, frankly, is a lot of time. If they can get the ball in close enough. They don't want to take a 25-footer, but if they get a shot around 20 feet.
Who's going to guard the pass? Let's see.
Boy, everybody is jamming it up around the action, which is on the far side of the court, and we're going to have another timeout.
All right, Rockhurst and Doug Bruce wanted to see how Vashon was going to set up. Now, Doug came out, and I was wondering now why he didn't put anybody, one of the big men on the inbound, on the trigger man, and he wasn't even worried about setting up the defense. He just wanted to see what Vashon was going to do. Now, that was one chess move. Now we're back, and does anyone know how you move the horse? How do you do it? You go 2 over and 1? I don't know, the chess game. I don't know. That's what they're doing inside. Somebody needs a rook or a king or somebody to go with a power move, but they've got to set one. I wouldn't be surprised if on the inbound it comes in the middle and they try and set a pick on the far wing from our broadcast position. It would be the near wing to the inbound. They don't want to have to take too much time to work the ball around.
We would like to take this opportunity to thank your local television affiliates, bringing you today's exciting championship game: KBSI TV in Cape Girardeau, KOMU TV, Columbia, KSNF in Joplin, my station, KMBC in Kansas City, KDEB, Springfield, KPLR TV in St. Louis.
Where the games are.
Exactly, and a special thanks to Randy Grissom at KTOV TV in Kirksville. And we are down to just 4 seconds.
They're not guarding the inbound pass. They're going to try and put Heller on the perimeter. Could be a good move, because he'll try and get on the shooter, and they'll try and make the shooter shoot over his long arms.
4 seconds to go. Anthony Jones is fouled immediately by Pete Campbell, and something you talked about is exactly, precisely what Rockhurst did.
Except they called it intentional. What that means is Vashon can go to the line. They can pull to within a point if they can hit them both, and then they can still get a shot with 2 seconds left. Oh, what a call. The Rockhurst fans are going wild. I don't blame them. Take a look. Well, he did reach around him. He reached around him. Anthony Jones.
Anthony Jones knocks down the first free throw chance with 2 seconds to go, pulling Vashon within 2. And it might be a foul call we see replayed over and over as Jones hits the second. Now the strategy changes again.
22 points for Anthony Jones. Now let's see if they'll guard the inbound pass, because now a basket will win the game for Vashon.
A basket from anywhere on the floor.
and they're going to call a timeout. We're going to stay right here, Dave. A basket anywhere. Now, when it was a three-point shot, I think I would have put Heller or at least Fry on the inbound pass, but they elected not to do that because they had planned on fouling. Now I don't want to do that because I don't want a long pass to maybe get through his long arms and give an inside layup or a 10-footer down low for Vashon. So I think you have to back your big man in and play it more straight up.
And let's take a look one more time as Vashon through the inbounds. Campbell comes around, reaches in on Anthony Jones, but is it flagrant? Is it intentional? Well, of course he wanted to foul it.
Here's the key, Dave. Had he gone with one arm and slapped at the arm, he wouldn't have got the intentional, but he reached with two hands. You cannot steal the ball with both arms going around the player. So the referee made the right call in that it wasn't even a legitimate effort, or at least making the appearance of a legitimate effort, because everybody knew they were trying to foul, but you have to make the appearance that you're going for the steal.
And now you wonder, is it 2.9 seconds, 2.1 seconds? How much beyond 2 seconds actually remain in this game? Vashon down by one. The inbounds to Anthony Jones from 35 feet. It won't go, and Rockhurst holds on. The Hawklets survive 57-56. And again, for the second time in 3 years, the Rockhurst Hawklets from Kansas City, the best in the state of Missouri, boys Class 4A. 57-56, your final over Vashon.